Tonight on the Electric Playground, Marvel's Avengers are assembling for their first big screen outing.
We are going to get into the virtual ring once again for WWE 12.
Today on EP, Zelda's 25, and I'm celebrating with a 70-piece orchestra here at the Pantages Theater.
And the epic Zelda action continues when we point our swords skyward. But first, Master Assassin Ezio is reveling in his latest deadly adventure. Welcome to the Electric Playground. We're the show that brings you the latest and everything cool every single day. My name is Victor Lucas, and on the weekends I like to play the role of Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Here's Jose with a look at Assassin's Creed Revelations.
We are here to talk about the final chapter for Assassin's Creed's Ezio Auditore de Firenze, one of the coolest names in video games ever. What can we expect for Ezio now that it's his third go around? He's sort of perfected his skill.
We're going to see more of a straight to the point badass character. He's not as cocky as he was when he was younger. He's wiser. He's more of a mentor, so he has more control over his men. If you like the stuff that he did in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, well, this is just one step over that.
Where does Revelations pick up after Brotherhood? Is it right after? Is it a few years after?
Revelations is a few years, about 5 or 6 years after Brotherhood. And what happens is Ezio, looking back upon his life, he's always been very reactive. He became an assassin because his brother got killed. In Brotherhood, he's also, again, reactive. It's a revenge quest because his uncle gets murdered. Now in Revelations, he looks back upon his life and wonders, where do I stand in all this? What's my destiny?
I cannot rest until all has been revealed and my mentor's secrets are laid bare.
He has some of the coolest weapons in gaming. Is he going to start off with those weapons in this game, or is he going to have to sort of relearn all that stuff, or will we see some brand new weapons?
Well, one thing we didn't want to do with Revelations was start the player very weak. So you start off the game already pretty powerful. There is a little bit of a ramp up, but it's very short. But then what we decided to do is not to remove anything and then have you gain it back, but actually add more stuff. So you actually gain, first of all, the hook blade. The hook blade, not only does it allow you to go about 30% faster when you're free roaming, but actually it adds much more fluidity. It turns free running into a toy. But it also allows you to do stuff like zipline assassination, hook and run, so you can just vault over a guard with the hook blade, or use your hook blade to throw a guard on a group of guards, stop them, stuff like that.
You guys introduced multiplayer with Brotherhood. Where are you guys going to be taking multiplayer for Revelations? Is it going to be more of the same, or are you guys adding and improving in that realm as well?
The first thing we did with multiplayer is address the issues that we had, like stuff like player matching, stuff like the flow within the menus. We started off by fixing all those issues. Then we have a whole bunch of new really cool characters that we actually get to meet in the single player experience. One of those characters actually gets unlocked after you face him in single player. Then we've added all these new locations, new gameplay modes, and we've added a narrative twist to multiplayer.
None of you leave until the assassin is dead!
It's the last story for Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Does that sadden you, that this is the last story? I mean, or at least what you say is the last story?
No, it is the last chapter, but for people that really like Ezio and you really want to have a continuation of what happens to him, we actually have an animated short called Embers, where you actually get to see Ezio's noble completion.
Assassin's Creed Revelations is available now. Also out now is the Blu-ray and DVD release of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and Shaun Hadden got a chance to speak with the film's director and some of the cast about the movie and some of the special features.
Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come to die.
Deathly Hallows Part 2 is on DVD and Blu-ray now. What do you think people are going to think of these movies 20 years down the line?
Every now and again there are things that clearly emerge as classics that people will always be watching as long as the format exists. And the Harry Potters unquestionably will have their place on people's shelves and mantelpieces for generations to come. And it's a very proud feeling for all of us.
When you look back on your experience being part of these Harry Potter films, what are some of the key memories, the warm feelings that you have?
As one of the adults, I turn up every year or every 2 years, and the people who I'd grown very fond of were suddenly 6 inches taller every time. Each time it would take me a few weeks because I'd treat them like they had been 2 years before, and then I'd realize how much more mature they were. They've all become seasoned professionals at 20 or 21. They spent more time on set in front of a camera on giant movies than most people who spent decades doing it.
What are some of the cool extras that we're getting on the Blu-ray version of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows?
We've got some deleted scenes that are quite fun. Scenes that I really loved in the movie, but rhythmically they bumped a wee bit, so we had to take them out. And we've got a maximum movie mode, which allows you to experience some background and how we made certain scenes work. And there's a wonderful interview. Dan Radcliffe talks to Joe Rowling, and there's a really interesting, intimate conversation between the two of them, which is fascinating.
We put the glasses on, and eventually we realised that I was allergic to them. I was actually allergic to the Harry Potter glasses.
Well, it's lucky neither of us believe in signs, isn't it?
Exactly, it really is lucky we don't believe in omens.
David, what was it like for you to put your mark on this epic series, Harry Potter?
It was such a privilege because it's a world that's loved by so many millions of people. And what I was really hoping to do, and what I think I've done, is to grow it up. To take it from a kid's film into a film that could be enjoyed by the whole family, adults as well as kids. To mature it, make it darker, more emotionally intense, a bit scarier, to make it feel real. So that was my ambition for the latter end of the series.
It seems, despite your exhaustive defensive strategies, you still have a bit of a security problem, Headmaster.
What do you think it is about the Harry Potter series that has endured and made it so well loved by fans?
I think the sort of span of generations, everyone sort of uniting for the same purpose. They're all fighting to defeat the dark forces, and they're all doing their best. Like, you know, the young wizards, they're not that experienced, they don't have all this complex knowledge of magic, but they're working really hard. You know, you see the way Dumbledore's army forms as the Order of the Phoenix forms, and I think it's just inspiring to all ages and all kinds of people.
God, I'll set the bloody place on fire!
You can watch the epic conclusion of the Harry Potter film series by picking up the disc now, or you could grab the whole complete collection and have yourself a marathon, but don't do that just yet, because ET's coming right back. Still to come, something is cooking and it smells like WWE 12. And after the break, Link is soaring through the clouds while an orchestra celebrates his 25th birthday. Oh, welcome back to the Electric Playground, where we are huge fans of the Legend of Zelda series. In fact, it's celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, so Shaun Hatton took a look back.
Now, this is a huge year for The Legend of Zelda. It's the 25th anniversary, and we're capping it off with the release of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. What are you most excited about for this game?
Well, The Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary has been an exciting year ever since the beginning of the year when it actually happened. And Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword's an amazing experience. The controls are amazing. They feel great. And to be honest, Mr. Aonuma and Mr. Miyamoto, this is their fantasy to bring Zelda to life, with the Wii Remote actually becoming your sword and your nunchuck actually becoming your shield and all the different ways to use the weapons. It just feels right, it feels real, and Wii Motion Plus is the only technology that can deliver that. So when you're holding that Wii Remote, it is your sword, and it's awesome.
We know very well that Link gets different weapons as he goes through his quest. What are some of the other cool things we'll get to wield with this Wii Remote?
Well, you're gonna get to wield some bombs. You can use a bunch of other things. You've got the bow and arrow, we've got the slingshot, but those are the basics that we kind of know about and aren't new. I don't want to share too much about what is new, but you are going to get to use some pretty cool new items. But the other new thing that's available is the way you experience some of the other things. So keep in mind, yes, bombs aren't new, but the way that you use them is new for this game. So you can actually bowl them or toss them like a basketball. So if you played Wii Sports Resort and you got your training, that's how you're gonna play better at Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, because there's very similar elements with some of those weapons.
No one wants to play against me in Wii Sports Resort, by the way. I am so good at the basketball game and the sword play. I think I'm gonna kill Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
One thing that definitely adds to the adventurous feel of any Legend of Zelda game is its music, and Nintendo is actually celebrating the 25th anniversary with a concert series. Miri recently went to the Pantages Theater in Los Angeles to check it out. We're here
at the Pantages Theater tonight to watch a full orchestra play through Zelda music. We're also sampling The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It really is a great way to celebrate the 25th anniversary.
Why do you think this is such a fan-friendly franchise?
You know, Zelda has kind of a way to really, work its way into people's hearts in a way that a lot of games don't. It's been around for 25 years. There's been lots of different versions of Legend of Zelda. It's built, it's grown, game after game after game. And it's a game that uses your mind, you're involved in an adventure, and it really kind of tugs at your heartstrings. I mean, you really are rooting for the main character and involved in a lot of ways.
How big a fan of Zelda are you?
I've been playing ever since I was a little kid. Zelda's actually older than I am. Started with Ocarina of Time, just like everyone else, but my favorite is actually Majora's Mask.
What are some of the things you're really excited to take part in here tonight?
Honestly, the line party is the best part. The music itself is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so excited.
Being a huge Zelda follower, just listening to all the music live, it's something I've been waiting for years. And so here we are, and finally we get to enjoy it.
This isn't just a concert. This is also sort of a fan event. What are some of the things that fans can get their hands on and get into here tonight?
Well, first of all, they get to sample The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So it's an early look at this great game. It's full of so much content. So you're going to be doing some amazing things when you're going through and adventuring and searching through the world of Legend of Zelda. So in addition to Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, people are also playing Ocarina of Time.
Pantages Theater has a lot of history. We're here in the heart of Hollywood. What made you guys decide to choose this venue for this event?
Well, the Pantages Theater is really a historic place. It has a lot of history. Really, it's a legendary venue. So we figure we need to have a legendary venue for a legendary hero like Link. So that's why we chose this place.
Fans of Zelda will actually get a musical bonus if they pick up the special edition of Skyward Sword. You'll get a soundtrack CD included with that. Now stick around. EP will be right back. And I'm just going to get this. Up next, fly off the top rope and head to Hawaii with George Clooney. Welcome back to the Electric Playground, where we are taking you to theaters now for a look at The Descendants, the new comedy drama starring George Clooney.
What's up, Dad? What's happening?
You need to come home and see your mom. This is a story about Matt King, who is a father and a husband, and who's not really great at either one of those things. He finds his wife has been in a boating accident. She's hospitalized. So he's now responsible for taking care of his two daughters, ages 10 and 17.
I don't want to talk about Mom with anyone.
Look, whatever you two fought about, you have to drop it. Grow up.
You really don't have a clue, do you? Dad, Mom was cheating on you.
He is now forced to be in charge of these two girls who he doesn't know very well. And so the story is about getting to know his own daughters, his own family, while dealing with reality, which is his wife in a coma.
Look who's here. Get out of my underwear, you freak.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Back inside now.
Real good job you're doing.
She definitely comes off kind of strong sometimes and very rude in a lot of situations. But to her, she knows what's right and she's going to stand up for what she believes in.
I'm going to hit you. How often do old people just haul off and cold cock you like that?
He's so laid back that he's completely forgotten any sort of social standards at all. He never knows what to say or what not to say or, how to put anything tactfully.
Sup, bro? Don't ever do that to me again.
I just like the story of a man whose wife is dying and he has to deal with his two pain-in-the-ass daughters. It's a human story in an exotic locale. I've never seen Honolulu in a film.
Two of the reasons I really wanted to be involved in this show was because of Alexander Payne and George Clooney. I mean, those two guys are at the top of their game, and they're also very nice human beings.
Well, what you've been going through, that's a tough deal.
I'm just trying to keep my head above water.
Working with Alexander Payne is one of the great American filmmakers. Hands down, you can ask anyone, he hasn't made a bad movie yet. And his movies have gotten progressively better. And it's 5 years since Sideways, and the world is waiting to see what he does next.
Who is he? I'd like to know who the guy is that my wife was seeing.
The Descendants is in theaters right now, but if you're looking for a different kind of drama, perhaps with some over-the-top action, you might be interested in WWE 12.
You're talking about a brand new era for the WWE games, WWE 12. The SmackDown vs. Raw is gone. What can we expect in this brand new rebirth of the game?
I love the way you phrase that. It is a new era. Like you mentioned, we completely rebooted the franchise. It's much needed. Getting a little stale, a little stagnant. So I think it's long overdue. We have new technology that's been integrated into the game. So really, this is the perfect opportunity to not only rebrand the game. It's no longer called SmackDown vs. Raw, but it's got a new gameplay experience. It's a little more dramatic, a little more intense. We have stuff like comeback moments and wake-up taunts. It's really a lot of TLC that went into gameplay, making sure that everything is holistic. It feels polished, it feels clean, it feels tight together.
And how much bigger and badder and better is the roster going to be for this game? Because I know a lot of fans out there are looking forward to seeing each year who you guys add to the game. What can we expect this year?
It's one of the biggest rosters. I'm not going to go out and say it's the biggest, because I don't believe it is, but it's one of the biggest that we've ever had. But I think it's the most epic.
Kelly, we're talking about WWE, brand new game.
Yeah.
What can we expect from the video game side of you this time around, now that you're a champ?
I've actually seen it, and it's pretty insane. The entrance, everything is to a T. Me, I'm walking down, I do my woo, and just the way I get in the ring, everything, it's like to a T me. It's crazy how perfect they got my character this time, and it's so much better than the previous years, so I'm so happy with it.
Who are you looking forward to getting into the virtual ring and fighting?
Well, there's two things I'd really like to do. Number one, I really want to take on The Undertaker. I think he's the best performer of the last 20 years in the WWE. I've not been fortunate enough to step in the ring with him in real life yet, so hopefully that'll come soon. And then the other thing is the create a character mode. I'd like to create some of my friends from back in the UK, some of the guys I grew up with. The create a character mode is so realistic, you can literally mold it to make it look exactly like people you know, some of your enemies, or maybe your boss at work or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to creating some people that I know and slapping them around a bit.
Each and every year you guys add something the fans love, the fans want. Right. What are the fans going to get out of WWE 12 this year?
I think really what it is, it's core gameplay. Really, when you first load up that game, you play a one-on-one match, and you feel how polished the game experience is, how tight it is, how authentic it is to programming. You start to see those cool camera angles. It's going to feel like a new experience. So I think that's the first thing fans are going to gravitate towards and really just be excited about.
We'll return with more of everything cool right after this. After the break, the biggest superheroes unite for an epic new film. Welcome back to the Electric Playground, where every now and then we like to look into the crystal ball at the seemingly distant future. Today we've got our first look at Marvel's The Avengers. Here's Shaun with some of the film's stars.
When you have a movie like The Avengers where there's so many big stars in it and so many big superheroes as well, what kind of screen time balance is there between these different heroes?
Joss has done a really good job of giving everyone their kind of moment in the sun. It's a huge balancing act, and he totally pulls it off.
No offense, but I don't play well with others.
Mark, now, two other actors have played the Hulk in recent years on the big screen. Yeah. What are you bringing to the character that's different this time around?
This is, I think, a more mature Bruce Banner. He's someone who's been living with this thing inside of him for a long time, and he's getting to a point where he's like, you know what, I'm tired of running from this. I want to face it. It's the next progression from what we've seen.
I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
What was it like playing off of all these different heroes in the film?
It's fantastic. It's still the same approach. It's still the same nerves, but you have a different team you're playing off of, which is nice. You still have in your head constantly the swarms of diehard fans that are going to expect something out of you.
Big man in suit armor. Take that away. What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
When you're the only one dressing up in a suit, it's a lot more pressure. When you come to set and you see 7 other people wearing silly costumes, you're like, oh, okay, all right, we're in this together.
What are you prepared to do?
It's hard to kind of come in to a fan base that's in place already and try to do a good job. It was like having to pinch myself every day to make sure this wasn't a dream.
the very, very first edition of the very, very first Avengers comic. The front cover has Loki, so in a way I think Marvel Studios have been very faithful to the initial incarnation of the Avengers.
He'll be every man for himself.
Clark, we've seen Agent Coulson in films already. What's he like in the Avengers that's different from before?
You know, I think he's different in the way that everyone's different in the Avengers, in that, you know, you get these other chapters, they're all a movie unto themselves, but they're very much building together the concept of a team. And when you look at this team, it's a little bit like a team made out of rock stars and divas with giant muscles and superpowers. And so somebody has the job backstage at Lollapalooza to make them all play in the same concert and super band. And that's really what Agent Coulson has to do.
You can be damn sure we'll avenge it.
The Avengers will assemble on the big screen in May 2012, so keep your eyes out for that. And of course, we're going to cover the film a lot more as we get closer to the release. But right now, here's a taste of what's coming soon to Electric Playground. On the next EP Daily, we check out the coolest new gadgets from Sony. The Muppets are back with a new big screen adventure.
Well, it's a lot like that.
And coming soon to EP, we delve into the creative minds of new media with our Storytelling 2.0 series. If you missed anything in today's show or you just want to watch it again, visit sci-fi tv.com.au/The Electric Playground. You can also find Sci-Fi on Twitter under Sci-Fi TV and on Facebook under Sci-Fi Australia. We've come to the end of the show, but I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. Here's some footage from the Legend of Zelda anniversary concert. Enjoy that, and we'll see you tomorrow.